Hey guys, welcome to my RuneScape 3 tips and tricks video. So in this video I'll be giving you guys 25 different tips and tricks that should help you out throughout the game. So if you guys do enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up button and maybe even consider subscribing for more RuneScape 3 content. Anyway, we are going to just dive right in. So starting off, for tip number 1, we have the sealed rune pouch. So this is actually a really useful item. It can be bought off the Grand Exchange. It is fairly expensive. I believe it's around 15-16 mil. But anyway, you can put runes in it, and these runes can be used for things like quick teleports around the map. So you can put, your law runes. You can put a steam rune in for the Lumbridge, Falador, and Camelot teleport. You can also put fire and nature runes in for high alching as well, so this is a really versatile item to use. Moving on to tip number 2, we have Viswax. So as many of you probably already know, Viswax is a really nice and quick daily money making method, and you can get here easily by going to the Rune Crafting Guild. I use the Wicked Hood to instantly teleport to the portal, and then you can just enter the Rune Crafting Guild and go to the Rune Goldberg machine. There's also a website on the forums where the player known as Overtime will be posting the combinations for the Viswax, and shout out to Overtime. We all really appreciate you putting these combinations up. But anyway, as you can see, Viswax does make you some pretty decent money every day. Moving on to tip number 3, we have the bank cleanup. So this is a little tab in the bottom section of your bank interface, and it will show all the items that you can drop, and most of them you can re-obtain from Django, and the other ones you simply just do not need. So this is a nice little filter to clean out your bank. Tip number 4 is dropping items with your action bar. And so this is pretty easy. You just want to drag the item onto your action bar, and you can just click that keybind and it will just drop the fish. This is mostly used for fishing. So that is a pretty useful method when you are doing things like fishing or woodcutting or things like that. Tip number 5 is the area loot feature. So you can find this by going into the settings, into gameplay, and then go down to item drops. And as you can see, use area loot is right there. You want to have that box ticked off, and it will make it so when you click to loot the item on the ground, it will actually loot all items in a 3x3 area. So this is useful for things like Abyssal Demons and AFK methods like that. You can just click on one item, and all the items around the 3x3 square will come up. You can click enter just to collect them all. Tip number 6 is decanting potions. You can do this by going to Bob the Barter in the Grand Exchange, and you can just right click them, click decant, and it will turn them all into potion 4 doses. You can also do this with whatever dose you want. There is another option if you right click them there as well. Tip number 7 is recharging Dragonstone jewelry using the Geyser Titan. So you can buy the Geyser Titan pouch on the Grand Exchange, right click them, and the third option should be charge Dragonstone jewelry. So you can charge things like Amulet of Glories and Ring of Wealths using this. Moving on to tip number 8, we have toggling challenges. So for this you can actually toggle off the challenges that you are already maxed in. So you can do this by going to the person that you actually collect the challenges from. So you just talk to them and click toggle challenges, and you come to this screen, so you can just pick whichever challenges you actually want. You can only deselect the ones that you are maxed in. Tip number 9 is that you can actually click tab to respond to your last direct message. So this is pretty useful. You can even do this in the clan chat. If you get a direct message, just click tab and you will respond directly to that person. Tip number 10 is you can actually collect your Combat Academy rewards, which is something I didn't actually know until recently. So by completing all of these Combat Academy challenges, which are really, really easy, it's pretty much just a tutorial, you can collect these XP books, and they really do add up. You can actually use it on any combat skill, including prayer. So that is really useful if you want a little bit of free prayer XP, or put it in any combat skill you would like. Tip number 11 is the Quest Point Shop. So if you don't already know, the Quest Point Shop is located right next to the Varrock Lodestone, and you can actually collect some pretty nice rewards by completing quests. There are magical dice that actually give you a random clue scroll reward, which is pretty exciting. They also have some quest combat gear. They have a quest lorehound, and they also have just some general quest hub boosts, such as the bank chest in this area, as well as the quest chest, which filters all your quest items. Tip number 12 is converting D&D tokens, which I find really useful. So if you have hoarded a bunch of D&D tokens from the treasure hunter, you can actually convert them into later tokens. So you can convert the daily ones into weekly and the weekly into monthly. Although you cannot turn monthly into daily or weekly, so you cannot go backwards. But I find the monthly tokens the best anyway. So this is a pretty neat tip that you guys could definitely use. Tip number 13 is the giant Oyster D&D, and this is a monthly D&D. So you can get here by teleporting with Wizard Myrtle, which is just outside the Wizard's Tower. So this is a pretty neat minigame. You actually do get to check the oyster every month when you have done it, and it gives you a random clue scroll reward depending on your total level. And it also gives some extremely good fishing XP. I get around 200k fishing XP every month just from this. As I am max, it does scale depending on your level. So it does give some pretty nice fishing XP, a little bit of farming XP, and a clue scroll reward every month. Moving on to tip number 14, we have another monthly D&D, the Troll Invasion D&D, and this is a pretty good D&D. It does give you some really great XP. You can start this D&D by going to the northwest part of Burthorpe and talking to Captain Jute. So this D&D is pretty easy. You will just need to kill the trolls. There are 7 different waves of trolls if you do it on hard mode. Just bring a little bit of food, some decent gear, and you should be fine. Once you have completed the 7 waves, you will get a reward book, which gives you some pretty fine XP. I always put it into rune crafting. I currently have 96 rune crafting, and as you can see, it gives me 72,000 XP. It does scale on level, but still, it is some really great XP that you can get every month. Tip number 15 is the last monthly D&D, the God Statues, and this also gives some pretty nice XP. It gives construction XP and either prayer or slayer XP, and you should get around 34k construction XP and 34k either slayer or prayer XP every time you do this, if you have 99 in each skill. There is also 5 different god statues that you can actually do, so that would put it up to around 150 XP that you can get every month by doing this short little minigame. So the 5 statues are located in Canfis, Lumbridge, Yanil, Taverley, and Prifdinus. Tip number 16 is the oddments store, and if you guys did not already know, you do get oddments every time you spin on the treasure hunter minigame. And the best item to actually buy for the best bang for your buck is the pulse cores, and that will give you the most XP per oddment spent. Tip number 17 is getting a second action bar. So to do this, you will want to go into the combat section, go to action bar, and so go to display additional action bars. So as you can see, you can toggle whichever action bar you want as that secondary one, and you can see it popping up in the top left of my screen. So this is pretty nice because you can put more keybinds on them, meaning that you can have some extra abilities to use when you are in combat. Really useful for boss fights. Tip number 18 is adding visual effects. You can do this by going to the world map, right-clicking it, and going to the skybox/filter section. So as you can see, there are a bunch of different skyboxes that you can actually implement into the game. So you can pretty much just pick whichever one you like, and they are pretty nice for taking screenshots and stuff like that. There's also a filter section which just changes the shade of color on your screen, and there is an advanced version where you can just customize your own. And tip number 19 actually goes with this, and this is going into the Freecam. So of course you can right click your world map and click Freecam, and it'll just bring you to this lovely nice page where you can take some really nice pictures. You can also use an Xbox One controller to control this as well. Tip number 20 is the Fury Shark ability. So you can actually eat Fury Shark, and it will give you a 1-minute cooldown where it will save an extra item if you do die. This is really useful if you are in the wilderness, and you can actually only obtain a Fury Shark from killing lava strike worms. So this is a really nice item to have with you in the wilderness, just in case a PKer comes along and does kill you. Moving on to tip number 21, we have expert skill capes. And so there is actually 4 different expert skill capes. The nice thing about these is that you only need a section of skills at level 99 to actually obtain one of these skill capes. And they are better than the regular skill capes, as they do have 2 perks that you can actually put on the cape instead of just 1. Tip number 22 is 3 quick features that you can actually use. So you can drag an item onto your coins icon, and that will be a high alch. You can drag an item onto the invention symbol, and that will disassemble. And you can also drag an item onto the ground or out of your inventory to drop an item. These last 3 tips are going to have to do with the new Acronia Island. And the first one is going to be tip number 23, where you can get free codex pages. So you'll just want to search the lectern and it will give you 25 free codex pages. So this is a nice little boost if you are working towards making that codex. Tip number 25 is getting 25 free hunter marks. And for this you want to go to the beach and search the backpack. It should give you a broken compass. And you also need a compass arrow, which is an uncommon drop from Big Game Hunter. Once you do that, you can combine it into a compass and give it to this guy right here, and he will give you 25 free hunter marks. This last tip, tip number 25, is going to be about the base camp. So for the base camp, you really should focus on getting your sleeping quarters up first. This will allow you to gain more workers, and you'll be able to gain more resources per hour, which will just make it all the other upgrades much faster. So first, just focus on the sleeping quarters. You will also need to get the warehouse and town hall up to actually maximize this, but just focus on that first so you can actually buy the other buildings a lot faster. Anyway guys, thank you guys for watching. I really hope these 25 tips did help you guys, and hopefully you learned at least a few things. If you guys have any other tips, feel free to comment them down below, and we can all help each other and maybe learn a few other tips that I have not mentioned in this video. Anyway guys, thank you guys for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you did enjoy, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.